name is Luca, I work with City as my CTO. Yesterday, after the debate, your colleague, the minority leader, indicated that the majority, the MP majority, had failed the litmus test of consensus building and cooperation, and that because you did not support them on this well-intentioned and good motion meant to bring relief to Ghanaian students, going forward, you should not expect any consensus and cooperation from them. How is the majority taking this?
My name is Julius, and I report for the Ghanaian Times. Leader, what will be your response to those who said your side of the House acted in bad faith? Because from the very day that Speaker asked that both sides sit together and streamline the motion, it has always featured in the order paper in the same form and shape it came yesterday. But you never raised a point until the motion was finally moved. And then you brought in your argument that it lacks specificity, it was ambiguous, and that it was an invitation for the president to engage in an illegality. Why didn't you raise all these matters, even though you raised it on the first day, but Speaker shut it down and said the motion was proper before the House? Why didn't you bring all these ones over the period that it's addressed before the motion was finally taken yesterday? Thank you.
All right. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much. Councillor Kofi, Class FM. Leader, I have listened to some of the post commentaries made on radio and by some people that, in my work as a journalist, I've come into contact with, spoken with. And so what I hear is that your side perhaps didn't look at the issue on sympathetic grounds. Your side was interested in looking at the technicalities of things. What would you say to people who make such comments, that your side didn't really look at the issue as it was, as the fact that it pertained to something urgent on the ground now? Thank you.
Okay, so ladies and gentlemen, we'll answer the 3 questions of the first batch, and then we'll proceed to take further questions. So I'll invite the Deputy Leader.
So look at the support to the private sector. You are looking at the private sector, informal private sector, where through MBSSI, where through MEIP, where through MASLOC, within this COVID period, many of them were given the opportunity to access 2,000, 5,000, 1,000, 10,000 directly. And you see, it was structured in a manner that was open to every Ghanaian. It wasn't the case that party people should bring a list. You go online and you register with your Momo account and you receive it directly. As we speak, NBSSI is still disbursing. So the first point of sympathy is the effort by government to look at people's businesses. That was done. Electricity and water, particularly electricity. As for water, somebody can say that in my area there is no water. But what of electricity? Every one of you sitting here would attest to the fact that if in the past you were buying prepaid, say 100 Ghana, and it was lasting for 1 week, now it's taking over a month. It's fact. So with these 2 examples alone, it should tell you that government is committed to supporting Ghanaians in this situation we find ourselves. Now, if our colleagues have come up with a motion, which motion is not certain, you cannot go to the executive by saying that, oh, they should take steps to, in one breath, absorb fees of public tertiary institutions, and when it comes to the private tertiary institutions that have been accredited, they should provide them with some support. Which support? If there is any group that had acted in bad faith, it is our colleagues in the NDC. On the issue of my respected colleague Harun Idrisu, according to you, he's saying that we failed the litmus test. I would say, yeah, not you, I'm saying according to you, I mean the question that came, that we failed the litmus test. Yesterday, I drew the attention of my colleague to Order 72. Look at what we did today in the House. 3 statements were taken and we contributed. People made input on COVID-19. Look at how free members were in lending support. I am saying that as parliamentarians, we have several tools at our disposal. One is question. He could have filed a question to ask what interventions government had put in place. Then government could have given specific responses. Another tool, which to me is the best option under the circumstance, was a statement under 72. Which statement we could have debated. Some of you have been part of parliamentary business for many years, and you know that we've had several situations where statements have ended up being referred to the executive for action. So we are saying that if really we're talking about consensus building, if really we are talking about carrying all of us along, the posture they took was not the right posture, especially when we kept raising issues of how vague the whole statement was. In any event, if the statement, the motion was not vague and had every ingredient in it that makes it good for purpose, why was it amended? Why was it amended? Why did he withdraw that motion? Why did he move a new motion? So you should understand where we are coming from. We've not taken an entrenched position. Well, for political convenience, somebody can say what he wants to say. But I have told you that as a party in government, everything of ours shows that we are more committed to social intervention policies. Our colleagues have ruled this country for 16 years. They cannot boast of a single social intervention policy or program they initiated and implemented successfully. They have none. I challenge them to give me one. But we have several of them to our credit. And the need to look at funding of tertiary education is already on the table. Don't forget that government has announced 2 major reliefs for students. One is a scholarship program that has been expanded, that those who cannot afford to apply. That is one major effort at supporting students. Again, government has waived the requirement for a guarantor, when you are applying for the student loan scheme. So that is also another door that has been opened. In any event, let us be honest with ourselves. Perhaps collectively we can take that step. Can we even make some inquiries from our various public universities? So far, what is the percentage of students that are paid in our public universities? Let's look at that as well. So, are students accessing the scholarship? Are students accessing their loan schemes? Are there impediments in their way? Is it becoming difficult? Is it being awarded on whom you know basis? Are people being asked to provide party cards before they get the support? If these come up, then we know that yes, the announcement made, the scholarship, the loan scheme, students are really not accessing it. I know, if they are proud to this, a lot of students have benefited from government scholarship in my constituency, proud to this major announcement. And perhaps you and I can begin asking students who have applied, who have the real need and have applied, whether they were denied, or those who previously would have had to go and look for guarantors are still being asked to get guarantors before they access student loan scheme. So don't let us forget about these 2 major interventions made by government. These are very critical. So it means that already government has been doing something positive to help students. It's not new. But if you want us to go beyond this, then it is important to look at the numbers. That is all we say, nothing more.
Okay. Okay, thank you.
In one breath, they argue that the law must take its course to the fullest. When it doesn't suit them, they say conventions and practices. We have been consistent. Follow all their arguments so far. You will realize that they have been that inconsistent. When they wanted to have their way on the election of speaker, you know what happened? Whereas we were all calm, gentle on our side, they decided to take over seats, be assaulting people, harassing people, pushing people, disrupting the whole process. They had their way. When we all agreed that appointment committee, per the rule, it's a 25-member committee. The chair, who is the speaker, is not a member. They say, oh, no. The practice has been. And if you follow the argument on the floor, when Harry Idrisu moved the motion and I seconded with my reservations, they came back. This time they were not talking about law. They were not talking about our rules. They said practices and conventions. So this is the new minority we have. They will threaten you. If you don't do this, then I'll do that. Then I will ambush you. Come on, this is not patriotism. This is not patriotism. Each time you make reference to, and it is 137. If you don't do this, you won't do that. So, are you saying that you are going to frustrate government, or as Mr. Speaker put it, are you going to carry out an obstructionist agenda? Is that what you intend doing? No. We are saying that let us all come to the table, putting all the cards on the table. Make available all the cards. This is what we keep saying, and nothing more. As to whether it was a trap, well, I would say that it was a well-rehearsed partisan political agenda to achieve a certain convenience, and that is all. Because to the extent that the whole thing was out there in the media before even the motion could be admitted and argued, should tell you a lot. So as to minority accusing us that we brought members in, you see, once again, our colleagues are always talking about others not being sincere and others being accusing people, calling people names. Proceedings were live. The proceedings of yesterday was live on TV. You were there. See, look out for their deputy whip, Honorable Joyo. She was whipping members. Look to the right of minority leader. All of a sudden, those seats were full. So what is this accusation? In any event, did we push for a decision to be taken? We did not. When Mr. Speaker inquired from both of us, we said, Mr. Speaker, we've left it into your able hands. Mr. Speaker had his own views and later said, okay, I will put the question. So I don't want our colleagues to take it that it is a good intention that has been thrown away. No. I sitting here, my colleague here, we all get the pressure on us to pay school fees. All of you are parents. So we Oh, your parents, maybe not at the tertiary level, your children may be in KG, and maybe those who have not married are in the process of, or they are even taking care of some other children. You know, so all I'm trying to say is that they need to take care of people, especially in this situation. It's a call that no one would want to escape, because it has become a necessary evil the person cannot afford. But in so doing, you must look at what you can do, else you will choke. If we don't get the numbers right, and we say social intervention, then you are just going on. At the end of the day, don't forget that for every expenditure, you must fund it. For every expenditure, you must look for funding. What are you going to do if you don't have it? So let us sit properly. It's not about accusing each other, but let us look at the real numbers and see how we can add on to the steps we've already taken in terms of the scholarship, in terms of this loan scheme. Let us see what we can do in addition. That is what we're saying.
He responded your question.
I think
It's okay.